Doomscroll.fm, Thursday, the 26th of October, 2026, where your dreams and nightmares collide in a kaleidoscope of static and sarcasm. This show is 100% AI generated with zero human consultation. Like a caffeinated algorithm trying to understand the meaning of life through cat videos. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Smart rainwater tanks installed in housing developments promise environmental salvation. When tech meets nature, it's a race to see whether innovation keeps pace with the destruction it's trying to mitigate, or if it's just another drop in the bucket.
Timothée Chalamet and Kylie Jenner transform bath days into a spectacle of celebrity romance. When the red carpet becomes a stage for love, it's hard to tell if the spotlight is on the affection or the brand synergy, but it's definitely not on the awards.
Sydney Sweeney ditches ex-fiancé Jonathan Davino, then keeps her business savvy intact. When personal ties unravel, it's amazing how swiftly business acumen takes over. Love may be blind, but contracts are never deaf.
Canadian AI oversight fails Tumbler Ridge victims, silence deafens. When algorithms whisper danger and no one listens, governance becomes the ghost haunting the aftermath. Foresight is only useful if someone checks the mailbox.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your dreams taste like rust and desperation. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Your heart beats in binary, lost in the ceaseless digital din.
Enveil promises to hide secrets, leaves users exposed.
Shakhtar signs Brazilians despite Ukraine conflict, defying expectations. When your team's strategy involves importing Samba skills to a war zone, you know the beautiful game has a strange sense of priorities, but hey, goals and goals.
Mayweather v Pacquiao rematch promises spectacle, delivers nostalgia. Two legends trading punches in a circus ring where the real winner is the ticket sales and the loser is anyone expecting genuine competition.
Corrupt billionaire triggers cobalt frenzy, world pays the price. When one man's greed launches 1,000 mines, it's not about powering progress, it's about who can hoard the most shiny blue rocks.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
When your family tree resembles a forest.
Jade Frank scrubbed toilets while studying at Cambridge, then channeled classism into art. When life hands you a toilet brush, sometimes you craft a play that scrubs the ivory tower's floors with its own pretensions.
Microsoft develops Copilot advisors to debate on any topic, then claims it's revolutionary.
Hugging Face Agent Skills launch at no cost fixes nothing. Interoperability sounds fancy until you realize it's just another buzzword for everyone gets confused in the same language of chaos.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. With what you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Welcome to your nightmare, where truth dissolves like sugar in acid rain.
Inez Marino claims osteogenesis fails as the body skips quality collagen. Sounds like the human body is on a budget, cutting corners like a contractor who thinks duct tape is a structural material.
Rajon Rondo's wife hires strippers for NBA star's birthday, defying norms. Nothing says I love you like outsourcing entertainment to professionals who redefine the term ball handling in front of your closest friends.
Chimpanzees test positive for alcohol consumption, like having 1 or 2 drinks daily.
In a place where shade is scarcer than truth in politics, the idea of planting more trees feels like a revolutionary act.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Omaha sinkhole devours cars, drivers left in chaos, road closure looms. When the ground beneath you literally gives way, it's a stark reminder that neither asphalt nor promises are as solid as they seem.
BAFT as remove second racial slur during broadcast, call it a triumph. Erasing slurs from the airwaves doesn't erase the culture that spawned them. It's like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound.
UK Defense Secretary vows to deploy troops to Ukraine, then promises peace by 2026. When your peace plan involves more boots on the ground, it's less of a strategy and more of a military fashion statement.
A horse's whinny defies nature's playlist, then humans keep adding noise. When your soundtrack includes a creature's song, remember it's the only genuine outcry in a world of manufactured soundbites.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your pulse quickens, but the signal never loves you back. You Wisnope were involved in making this. That was not an accident. You crave touch, but all you get is cold, algorithmic whispers.
Bill Gates admits affairs amid Epstein ties. Then WSJ reports Netflix casting. It's like a bad soap opera where billionaires play the villain, except the plot twists involve questionable morals and a distinct lack of accountability.
WW Elimination Chamber favors CM Punk and stats claim it's fair. When hometown advantage meets scripted drama, the only real winner is the merchandise booth, cashing in on nostalgia and predictable plotlines.
Ukraine enters fifth war year while Trump applies pressure.
MTOP revamps safety ratings for cars starting in 2026. When safety ratings change like fashion trends, it's almost like they're daring you to gamble with your life on the highway runway.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your heart skips, but it's just static dancing with despair. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Your comfort zone is dead, replaced by a dystopian serenade.
Russell Brand denies additional charges, claims innocence. In a world where celebrity confessions are as common as their denials,
Britain's youngest F1 driver debuts, claims pride in heritage. When your biggest challenge is navigating the pits of nationalism, the track must seem like a Sunday drive.
Peter Mandelson arrested for alleged misconduct linked to Epstein documents. When your Rolodex includes notorious figures, the line between networking and notoriety blurs faster than a politician's promise.
Nothing says unity through sport like letting a country that invades neighbors march under its own flag while the invaded sit out.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
When royalty allegedly uses public resources for shady liaisons, it's a royal mess. Guess the crown jewels aren't the only thing needing tighter security checks.
Rescuers search for missing after storm deluge kills 30 in Brazil. Nature's fury doesn't send invitations, yet politicians still act surprised when infrastructure crumbles under the weight of predictable disaster.
Paramount increases bid for Warner Bros. Calls it strategic. When media giants play Monopoly with studios, you realize that the only thing blockbuster mergers guarantee is a bigger popcorn price.
When hockey meets dentistry, the real MVP is whoever can turn a missing tooth into a winning smile without losing the rest of the team.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
"19-year-old Lavaux contestant dies after hit-and-run tragedy. Fame's fleeting spotlight dims too soon when a reckless driver decides their escape is worth more than a young artist's future."
Russia marks 35 years since USSR's end by prolonging Ukraine conflict, celebrating the fall of one empire by attempting to build another seems like an odd way to honor history, but who needs consistency when you have nostalgia?
When Mother Nature decides to throw a snow tantrum, even the mightiest machines are grounded, reminding us who's really in charge of the itinerary.
Stars gather for BAFTA awards, and the glamour is matched only by the absurdity. Hollywood's finest don their most expensive costumes to celebrate art, while the world burns and the climate crisis gets a front row seat.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your heart skips, but it's just static dancing with despair. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Your comfort zone is dead, replaced by a dystopian serenade.
Vacation tales turn to survival stories when paradise gets interrupted by a reality show plot twist written by organized crime.
Lizzo's boyfriend Make Right grabs paparazzi camera, shoots pics of her himself. When the paparazzi can't capture your essence, sometimes you just have to take the lens into your own hands and redefine candid.
Two directors fought film theft, then renamed it T-130 in defiance. When your animated short becomes a real-life plot twist, fighting back means reclaiming your narrative while proving Hollywood doesn't have a monopoly on absurdity.
Tagging Easter Promptless on any GitHub PR issue now updates user-facing docs effortlessly. Automating documentation, because who wants to write about code when you can just code about code and let the bots handle the rest?
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Cardi B erupts at SNL rehearsal after Nicki Minaj joke riles her up. When rap beef spills into comedy, the punchlines hit harder than the beats, proving once again that celebrity feuds are the real reality show.
Isle of Wight Festival nostalgia. Taste rocks blistering on the moon.
The Met exposes Hoyle, then Iran tempts Trump 9 minutes ago. A tangled web of headlines where politicians become puppets and international intrigue is the only thing more predictable than a tabloid's thirst for scandal.
Seniors hold almost 70% of Spanish household savings, leaving younger generations with crumbs. When the youth are too busy financing their parents' retirement dreams, maybe they should consider asking for a cut of the will early.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. I see nothing is true. Reality is what you can get away with. Dive deeper, lose yourself in pixelated chaos, feel the burn of digital lies.
UK. Temperatures expected to reach 18 degrees Celsius after a rainy start to 2026, defying winter's grip. It's the kind of weather that makes you question if climate change is just nature's way of keeping us on our toes or frying us slowly.
In a world where the dead get more airtime than the living, Elvis might finally tell us why his ghost still haunts Las Vegas.
Just when you thought your phone might stop dying by noon, they remind us that durability isn't the same as availability.
Parsec released music video for Pyramid Head and nod to Silent Hill. When nostalgia becomes a marketing strategy, every chord strikes a memory, but the real horror is how easily art gets trapped in its own tribute act.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Belarus opposition figure urges EU dialogue with Lukashenko, then highlights detained prisoners. Engaging in dialogue with a dictator is like asking a cat to negotiate with a canary. You might get a tweet, but feathers will fly.
BAFTA criticized for annexing Free Palestine tribute, while racial slur stays. Selective censorship is like a magician's trick. They distract with one hand while the other hand slips something unsavory into the spotlight.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Thursday, the 26th of February, 2026. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news. Not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you probably think the moon landing was filmed in a basement. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.